Why do people watch Isekai? You watch it because you don't want to feel bad about feeling bad. Reality has failed a generation of Japanese youth, and now winter is coming. It's going to fail another generation elsewhere. It's not magic, not knight, not princess. Isekai offers us predictability. Actually, Isekai is yesterday once more. The post-war order was far from perfect, but it was predictable. The world we live in now is changing faster than human biological process. As Abe and his friends grumble in the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
That's because everything is changing at such an ungodly pace, especially for men our age. My parents' house had no electricity till I was 7. One can't keep up. Yes, and it's physiological as much as it is psychological. Homo sapiens crawled along, playing the same roles for tens and tens of thousands of years. We're forced to adapt to this rapid-fire change. More change in a year than our predecessors experienced in a lifetime, in a millennium. Think about it. Change to our predecessors were sudden exogenous events, earthquakes, floods, and eclipse, a saber-toothed tiger lunging at you out of nowhere.
In the good old days, a crisis was stubbing your toe on the table. Now, our daily bread is watching our lives get sliced in half. Subaru's endless loop of death and resurrection in the mirror. When we look at Subaru, we see ourselves. Of course, none of us die and restart, but we are mentally forced to rebuild shattered realities every single day. This brings us to the core of his survival. Subaru is a mirror for a generation forced to endure constant change. We used to think Subaru's superpower was his ability to resurrect. Actually, his true superpower was his callus, the thick, ugly scar tissue formed over 100 deaths. He was a loser who chose to become a hero and pay the price for everyone else's sins. But how do you break someone who cannot be killed? How do you cause more harm to a boy who has already seen the blood is the most grotesque thing in the world? You can't just increase the scale, escalating from 10 deaths to 10,000, for example. Instead, Taipei Nagatsuki relies on far more elegant cruelty. Subaru is the modern-day Christ figure, carrying the collective anxiety of a generation. And Nagatsuki breaks him by doing one simple thing, erasing his memory. It reminds me of a story of Edith Edgar, a survivor of Auschwitz who danced for Jews for Mengel. She passed away last month. As the train carried her towards the death camp, the mother turned to her and said, "No one can take away from you what you put in your mind." When they arrived, her mother was suddenly left. A prisoner pointed the smoking chimney of the crematorium and told Edith, "Your mother is burning in there. You better start talking about her in the past tense." Memory is the only thing we truly own. Memory is what makes us who we are. Subaru Natsuki's power was never his magic, his fatal strength, or an ugly orange and black tracksuit. It was his past. It was a memory of the girls he had saved, the promise he had made, and the death he'd suffered. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But Subaru, the opposite is true. What kills him makes him stronger. By wiping his mind, Nagatsuki made it. He killed a boy who cannot be killed. The boy who wakes up in the green room is not a hero. He's a dumb, lazy teenager who used to blame everyone else for everything. He was a boy who couldn't even be bothered to wash his own mark. He ran away from home without saying "Idirashai." Now he's trapped in a nightmare. In his previous life, society expects nothing of it. Here, everyone expects him to be a god, and he doesn't even know how he got here. People are angry with the law. She's toxic, she's abusive, she's a monster. The audience wants her to be a sweet, supportive wife who will comfort them in any circumstances. Why? Because much of them, just like old Subaru, lives with their mothers, expecting women to act as them. They do not understand Lama, or women. Lama's true clairvoyance is the ability to see through the bullshit of Subaru Natsuki. From the very first day they met, she saw him for what he was. A lazy, self-pity NEET who blamed the world for his problems. She despised him because it's in his nature. Even when she risked her life to save him, she looked down on him. While he never earned her respect, he did something far more valuable. her trust. He made the impossible possible. Most importantly, Subaru was the only person left in the universe who remembered her sister, Lemu. When Lambu drags Subaru out, she isn't being cruel, she believes him. She thinks he's playing a game, masking some grand strategy behind the facade. But when she looks at him closely, she's shocked. The hero is gone. She sees the old Subaru, the weak, cowardly loser she always knew. She despised him when everyone else thought he was a savior. Now, her worst prediction has come true. The useless need is standing in front of her. It is the end of the world. If Subaru forgets Lemu, then Lemu is truly dead. Lemu, always so cold, rational, finally breaks down. She begs him to tell her everything. She pleads. When he cannot, the silence that follows is the sound of Lemu being erased from existence forever. To understand Subaru's descent into madness, we must consider the physical reality of his death. The anime does not spare us, and neither should we. The first fall, a hand pushes him from behind. There's a brief moment of witlessness where the brain refuses to accept the betrayal. Then, gravity takes its toll. A single descent ending in a wet thud against the stone floor. It is clinical. It is over before the terror can even find a voice. The second fall. Once again, a hand pushes him from behind. Subaru plunges into the base of the staircase. He strikes the first stone step, and his left arm snaps outward at an angle human biology does not permit. But gravity is a relentless mathematician. He bounces, his spine striking the sharp edge of the next step with a sickening hollow crack. He's rolling now, his bones broken and his muscle torn. Blood sprays from his mouth, paints ancient stone, but his eyes remain wide open. His brain, stubborn and terrified, refuses to lose consciousness. He's forced to watch himself fall apart. When his broken body finally hits the landing of the button, he stops breathing. This is terror in its most concentrated form. In Subaru's fear, there's a tear, and in that tear are all the tears in the world. Not for a second, not for a single frame of animation, does Yusuke Kobayashi's vocal control relax, and yet it sounds effortless. It is often said of great actors that we cannot see them acting. With Kobayashi, we cannot even hear him performing. He simply exists in Subaru's reality. When he wakes up after his second fall, he cries. His wail is that of a child who realizes he's utterly lost. In a genre full of fantasies of power, status, and sexual conquest, Subaru's deepest grief is humiliatingly private. He does not cry for the kingdom, the war, or even Amelia. He cries because he left a dirty mark in his sink, and because he misses his mother and father deadly. It is a performance that violates of privacy. It is uncomfortable to listen to because it strips away all anime vanity. Kobayashi gives us a primal, grotesque sound of a human soul, realizing that the universe is vast, cold, and indifferent of tears. Subaru Natsuki wanted to start from zero. He wanted to escape, so do we. But there is no way out. The die is cast. By the time you realize you're sinking, it's too late. Do not leave home without saying, いってらっしゃい.